Another way that your opponents are going to look to defend your heel hook attacks is instead of turning out of them, they're going to attempt to bring their foot down to the floor, separate your foot from their hip, and ultimately deconstruct your Ashi Garami position. What this looks like is as my opponent has a mount, we transition to Ashi Garami, and now from here, she brings her foot back to the floor to take away that heel exposure, takes her foot to my heel and removes it, and now she's dealing with a much easier situation. So from this position, when I feel my opponent bring the heel back to the floor and start attacking my ankle, I'm going to transition now to an Achilles grip, so that when she separates my heel from her hip, I'm able to get a hold of her neck. I'm able to get a hold of her neck because her head is always going to come forward. If she separates my foot from her hip and stays where she is, nothing keeping me from bringing the foot back to the hip. The way that she takes away that ability is she brings her hip forward, so now when I go to bring this in, it's stuffed. What that gives me, though, is control of my opponent's head. And now from here, with the inability to return this foot to the hip position, I'm instead going to once again find a shoelace grip. Once I find that shoelace grip, I bring my knee to the opposite hip, and I'm going to transition now to a Kani Basami, or scissor leg takedown. I pull my opponent's head in, and I bring my knees to my chest while raising that shoelace grip. I straighten my bottom leg, and now it's easy to lock a figure four and sit my opponent down to her butt. Now from here, with both legs controlled, I can start moving into attacks. Let's take another look. Elbows inside, hands at the hips. I start my bridge, transition to Ashi Garami. I work to expose the heel, but my opponent brings the heel back to the floor. When this happens, I'll take that Achilles grip, so when she separates the foot from the hip, I get a hold of the head and I keep control of the leg. Now from here, we're going to take our foot, pummel it to the inside, and secure a shoelace grip. Once we have that, we'll bring our knee to the opposite hip, retract our knees to our chest, and extend our legs up. We kick our legs straight, lock a figure four, and we sit our opponent down to a butt. We're ready to move into attacks. We'll take one final look. My opponent removes the heel exposure, so we take an Achilles grip. She removes the foot, we get a hold of the head. We pummel our foot inside as a shoelace grip, bring our knees to our chest, and extend our legs up toward the head. We kick our legs straight, lock our figure four, and return our opponent down to the floor.